everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Molly and today we're going to be going over some of my symptoms and cravings and just things I've been feeling overall through my first trimester of pregnancy. So to start off, I didn't really experience some of your typical first trimester symptoms, I guess. I feel like I've been blessed that I've kind of gone through it pretty easy, so to speak, compared to what you hear about, what you read about, you know, all of the horror stories. I had morning sickness, I couldn't get out of bed, my whole body was exhausted, and I am by no means bragging about this at all, because part of me really wanted to like feel those things, because that's how you know you're pregnant, you know. But all in all of my doctors tell me, you're pretty blessed that you haven't experienced all those things, so you should be pretty happy and grateful for it. So I've kind of come to accept it, but I just wanted to make this video just to share with all of you other ladies out there, let you know my experience and what I've gone through, and maybe it can help some of you. Or maybe not, or maybe you're just watching to watch, and that's fine. Anyways, if you want to know more about my first trimester and things I went through, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I took some notes on my phone, just of some of like the baseline stuff that I've been going through. So if you see me referring to my phone, that is what I'm doing. Like I said, I really didn't experience a whole ton of your typical pregnancy symptoms, early pregnancy, all of those kinds of things. I really didn't get a whole lot of them. Now, don't get me wrong, I did get some, but it was very mild. I didn't get the extreme morning sickness. I didn't get like the extreme fatigue. I didn't, all of those typical things that you read about, that you watch in other videos. I didn't really get them. But I did try to nail down to the best of my ability some of my signs that I did experience. So obviously, first off, the most basic one of them all is I did have very sore breasts. It hurt to like walk. It did hurt to wear a bra. It hurt. They just hurt, okay? And they just felt swollen, and I'm typically smaller chested, so I feel like, as your body's filling up with all these hormones, obviously it's changing, and my body just wasn't ready for it. Overall, as long as I'm just a little careful, it'll be okay. Another one, or a couple, I guess, I was pretty bloated. I felt like even at like 6-7 weeks, I was like, I feel like I'm 3 months pregnant, just because my stomach would get so bloated every time that I would eat, and it was a little uncomfortable, but nothing too severe, just something that I noted, and I was just like, whoa, like, I'm super bloated. I look like I have a baby bump already, but that's not possible because I'm only 6 weeks pregnant. Also, I guess my tiredness, it was a little amplified. Again, not too much. It's not like I had to sleep every second of the day or felt like I needed to sleep every second of the day. I just, felt a little bit tired than normal. I didn't really experience I don't know. It's just like a little bit more than normal, Around week 8, I did start to feel like my anxiety was spiking a little. Now, I've never really had a problem with anxiety or anything like that. I mean, I do get nervous just like any human being would, but it's never really been a huge problem, thankfully, in my life. So I felt like it was kind of amplified a little bit. So I was like having a hard time catching a deep breath. I'd lay in bed and I just kind of feel a little antsy. So that was about weeks 8 to 12-ish that I was experiencing that. Again, nothing too major. It was mostly just, I just felt a little panicky. So this one may be helpful for some of you guys, because I know that when I started having this symptom, I did resort immediately to Google, to YouTube, to everything that you could search on pretty much, because about week 7 and 8, I did start to feel some weird cramping. Now, it wasn't anything severe, although I had no bleeding. It was just weird, and I was like, you're not supposed to feel cramping in pregnancy. That's never a good sign. So I started Googling, and sure enough, I did find out that you can actually feel some stretching of your uterus. So it kind of does feel like a light menstrual cramp if you want to compare it to something. Mine, of course, wasn't anything severe. I didn't need to take any Tylenol or anything for it. It was just uncomfortable and something that made me a little uneasy. Okay, so in regards to nausea and hunger and food stuff, I honestly didn't really experience a whole lot in this aspect. You know, around week 7, I did start to get a little bit woozy feeling. It was just mostly at night when I would lay down for the night to go to bed. And I guess the only other time I could say that I really experienced it is whenever I would get hungry. So as soon as I would get just the tiniest little rumble in my tummy, I would kind of just feel like, whoa, I need to eat something right now, because I definitely feel not so great at the moment. Foods that I've been craving. Honestly, it really hasn't been that much. I would say, if anything, eating more olives. I really like olives, but I've always liked olives, but I don't know. Kalamata olives are really nice right now. Pickles. I've always liked pickles again too, but I find myself kind of looking at the fridge to see if there's pickles in there. And then cheese and crackers. Like, this is just so weird because I feel like it's stuff that I normally like anyway. So I'm like, how is this even a symptom? I like it anyways. But I will say this has been the most prominent out of all of them. And this is something that I have learned that I do not like, which is insane because I used to live off of these, but I do not like eggs. The thought of eggs really is like disgusting to me. I used to eat eggs all the time. I ate them for breakfast, I ate them for lunch, I ate them for dinner. I would eat them as a snack, scrambled, hard-boiled, over medium, you know, just literally eggs were life. But now, every time I think of an egg, I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with that. So I would say that eggs have been something that I have learned to not like so much. Also, in the beginning, I've heard that a lot of other ladies experience this, but I did have some weird dreams. You know, just kind of odd things. Like, they were really easy for me to remember. I could, you know, wake up in the morning and tell Cody about them and just be like, oh, and this is what happened, and this is how it happened, and like, this is what color it was, you know, just like super precise, you know, dreams that I could just tell them about. So about week 10 or so, I did start to experience some headaches. Now, of all my symptoms, this is another one of the ones that was like maybe a little bit more heightened than the rest. But I did start to experience some headaches that were pretty not great. I wouldn't call them a migraine by any means, but it definitely was like, oh, I just kind of want to go lay down for a little bit just because my head really hurts. It was one of those things, as soon as I would stand up, it was just like, oh, pounding in my head, but you know, they were uncomfortable. I did have to take Tylenol for those. So my last symptom that I'm going to go over has to do with like my immune system. So I've always kind of had a crappy immune system. In high school I had mono really bad, and ever since then, like, my body just like, as soon as the sickness is around, I'm gonna catch it. And so about week 13, guess who catches the flu? I literally felt like I had been hit by a truck, like a literal like 18-wheeler semi-truck ran me over, backed it up, and then went straight on over me again. My body hurt. I had a fever. It luckily wasn't getting too high, but it did get around, you know, to the 101s. But we were just controlling it with Tylenol. Called the doctor. They, of course, just said, you know, the flu is the flu, and you just have to let it do its thing. It's gonna just do what it needs to do, and then it'll be gone. It was quite terrible, and I hope none of you ever experience the flu while you're pregnant, because it's overall, that's kind of a big summary of all my symptoms that I had, or am having, I should say. I'm sure there will be more, you know, now that we're entering into the second trimester. You know, I know a lot of things are changing now. So next I want to talk about some products that I'm using. For starters, I have been trying to do some preventative maintenance. I know stretch marks are going to happen. If stretch marks are going to happen, like the flu, I have been trying to stay on top of moisturizing. I've just been using the Palmer's Cocoa Butter formula for stretch marks. So basically just a lotion after I get out of the shower, rub it on, and let it go. I also have been using the same Palmer's. It's the Tummy Butter for stretch marks again, the intensive treatment. So it's just a balm. It's really weird and hard to like get out. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a very thick balm. And then also my mom gifted me the What to Expect When You're Expecting book, and I have been reading this week to week. It's really helpful. It has a lot of tips, totally packed with information. You know, I try to read it as best I can, and I've been reading the week to week aspect. I could do better about reading all the other tips and tricks. So really awesome. It has just so much information, and I think it's really good for any first time mom to have. And then last is the app that I was going to tell you about. Now I use the app The Bump. It is pink one here. I don't know if you can see that, but this is just an awesome app. It has a lot of information as well. It does have diagrams. We have named our baby Sweet Pea at the moment, just because we of course do not know if it's a boy or a girl. So in the app you can customize it and name your baby. You eventually can put in his or her gender, go from there. And this one does compare it to like the size of fruits, which is fun. Right now it says that Sweet Pea is the size of a peach. So again, it just kind of goes over, you know, some basic things that you may be feeling, what baby's doing, how baby's growing, and all that good stuff. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about baby kicks. You know, a lot of times some people say kicks as early as like 12 weeks. That's a lot of time for like second time mommies or mommies that have been pregnant before. I feel like I may have felt the baby kick, but I don't know if it's the baby or not. I've never been pregnant before, so I just have no idea. The best way I can describe it is like you have butterflies in your stomach. If you take your hand, so to speak, and you go boop with your fingertips against your skin, it's like that, but in my lower tummy. So who knows, maybe it is the baby, maybe it's not, maybe it's just some kind of growing pain. I have no idea. I've never done this before, but it's just something that I've noticed and something I wanted to bring up. Okay, so to wrap things up, I wanted to show you guys my bump. I really haven't had a bump until I'd say now. I'm 14 weeks. I definitely feel like I do have a little bit of a bump starting, and you guys can let me know what you think. Alright, so that is pretty much everything that I've been experiencing within my first trimester. Like I said, again, it's been pretty mild. I've been extremely blessed with that. It's, you know, been pretty enjoyable for the most part. I will show you some pictures from our last ultrasound when we met with the sonographer and had our scan. This cute, they're really dark. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know why they came out so dark this time around, but they are so cute and it was definitely crazy to see. You know, baby was moving around a whole bunch. He or she is quite active, which is good to know. You know, it's definitely crazy to see a baby just moving around and stretching its neck. Hopefully you guys liked today's video. Hopefully you guys learned something, or you know, maybe you can relate to my lack of symptoms. So let me know in the comments below some symptoms you've been feeling or haven't been feeling. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and feel free to subscribe. I plan on making a lot of mommy videos and bump dates, and I look forward to going through this journey with all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!